Oh, you just downright suck.
Why do I suck?
Huh?
I mean, I do, but I mean, why do you
Oh,
say I suck?
brother.
I mean, why do
Okay.
you say I suck?
Brother.
Well, I'm tired, and when I'm
Uh-huh.
sleepy, my filter is faulty.
Do.
Nobody cares if you suck. Do you swallow?
Um,
Yeah,
Depends
took too long to
on.
answer.
It depends. I gotta say, yeah.
Okay, so I missed half of that. What happened?
Why is that?
Why
Why
is
is that such a thing for men?
Male
what the
egotistical
swallowing?
bullshit.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. But if I mean, well, let me shut up.
Male egotistical
Oh no,
bullshit.
don't
It's not
please.
that deep.
I was gonna say if they knew the truth, then they would not. It would not be a thing, probably.
And the truth is,
Yeah, this ought to be good.
I mean, y'all gotta understand that most people ain't gonna swallow that shit because most of y'all shit tastes nasty.
I mean, yeah, most people think they
salty,
can live off of
funky.
fucking Hennessy and blunts. Of course it does.
No, 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 no. Not everybody's is as. I mean, there
Go and tell on
again.
yourself.
Everybody ain't made the same. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, but doesn't diet affect it?
I'm sure it does. Also, medications.
Oh, God, I keep forgetting
You
y'all be
know.
sucking old people.
Excuse me.
My fault. It was an
First of all,
assumption.
I am old people.
I mean, that's very
Um,
logical.
but there are a lot
Coming
of.
up.
What'd you say? You're not?
She said coming
I
up.
said, coming up. You about to be
Yeah,
old people.
yeah. I'm gonna be old people pretty soon, but I mean, I don't think that being on certain medications necessarily has anything to do with age because I know younger people who are on a lot more medications than I am, and
Yeah, but those aren't legal
yeah, they
Ooh.
are prescribed actually.
to other people.
So if someone has high blood pressure, for example, and they're taking blood pressure medication, yeah, that is going to affect it.
That is a helpful tip for the listeners.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's taken like insulin, I actually don't know what that tastes like, but I do have a friend who
Nah, keep
complained
telling on
heavily.
yourself.
No, I have a friend who complained heavily about her husband and that particular issue. A lot of that matters. It also matters, how well I like you because,
If you like
you
them, make them
know,
drink pineapple juice.
pineapple juice, cranapple juice.
Your knowledge of this is so fucking sexy, but keep going.
Well, I mean, I'm old. I got miles.
Seasoned.
Yeah, I am seasoned in this area, and
So if
yeah,
it's
man,
the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. What happens when it's the older the berry?
no, the darker the berry is not really the sweeter the juice either.
As one
Um,
of the few black men on earth that is into darker women, I beg to differ.
okay, well, I have no
I've tasted more juices
expert.
here. It's a fact.
Okay, okay, I have no expertise on the female side of this issue, so I will defer to you, sir.
Rookie.
So, wait a minute. You're saying darker women take, I mean, the shade of a black woman basically dictates the way that they taste.
In all honesty, no. I'm just preferential to darker
Okay.
women. I think that's also another thing. Yeah, like healthy eating definitely affects the taste.
Well, yes.
Yes, because those who indulge in like garlic and like broccoli, cabbage, leafy greens, asparagus. Oh,
Yeah,
No,
that
all of
is
never
like
that.
the
asparagus.
biggest offender.
Yeah, but I'm
That
just
is
saying,
the
all of that. That's why, Star, when when the babies were little and you're breastfeeding the baby, the doctor will tell you that there are certain things you eat that the baby is not going to like the taste of your breast milk because that stuff
hmm
secretes through your body.
hmm
Men need to realize that shit too.
I'm drinking water right now.
Okay, that's not doing me any good.
You know what? You didn't offer. So,
Um, well, I mean, I believe I did. This should air on my birthday, and so you should be, here giving me my personal birthday gift.
you are far beyond the
So
drive to dick
what?
down delivery distance. Good luck with a
I
local.
think I'm, I think I'm closer than you think.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
How close is
You
drive
know,
to get some? How far are you going to drive for sex?
me personally.
All of us.
'Cause, I mean, I'm not going nowhere. I mean,
I might fly for some sex. I'm not driving too much of. I mean, shit.
I won't. If
It had to be more than just about sex.
That's what I'm saying. That wouldn't be the only, objective if I'm going to make a drive.
Obviously, nobody's driving 8 hours to go get some and leave. Like, there's got to be
Right.
some fucking food and chilling involved. You got the point of what
Okay.
I'm
For
saying, though.
for the record, 8 hours is not even that long of a drive, though. You can't
You
even get
are
across
out
Texas.
your motherfucking wig.
You can't even get across Texas in 8 hours.
Okay, and I've never drove to the other end of Texas for pussy.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm just saying. It's a shorter drive from El Paso to Dallas. I mean, from here to you than it is from El Paso to Dallas, or from El Paso to Houston.
Yeah. You cute, man. That's a
I
flight.
don't
I gotta
know.
dodge.
I don't know. Maybe if you get a taste, you might be more willing to drive. But anyway,
Coming from the person not willing to leave the house. Okay.
I didn't say I'm not willing to leave the house. I'm just saying, I'm not, at this stage in my life, I'm not making a whole lot of effort for dick.
Yeah, so you should probably start smaller and work your way up. How are we having these
Mostly because
conversations?
I'm just,
Smaller.
yeah, I don't need to start smaller.
Okay.
But,
You mean smaller distances?
I think
Is
that's
that
what
what
he
No,
you
meant.
not
mean?
at
I think that's what he
Oh,
all.
okay.
means.
No, it wasn't.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm.
I'm a friend zone dude. I don't be doing all that extra.
Mm.
hmm
I don't believe that
Why not?
because I don't. I mean, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why you always claim that, but okay.
Because it's true. Trust me, I wish
It's
it
not.
wasn't, but shit be happening. Or don't be
Well,
happening.
I mean, it may also be that you just don't pay attention.
That I'm very sure
Because
that is a factor.
Meaning he doesn't notice women flirting with him?
Probably
a
not
little
as
bit of
much as I should. I'm very oblivious to social cues.
I am too.
yeah,
I am too.
as am I.
I'm
I've been
horrible at it.
told.
My thing is,
Yeah.
if you like me, you better tell me. I'm not an assuming person.
Yeah, me neither. Like, I just assume that people are trying to
Just
be
being nice
nice,
and not flirting. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But again, I was raised in Texas, so,
Nah, they
people are
was flirting.
nice. Well, and as they, later told me when it didn't matter anymore, but I
Yeah, how
didn't
fun
know.
are those conversations 20 years later? Like, I
They,
liked you, but you never said
they,
anything. Like,
what was that
Oh
about?
no.
okay.
So let me tell you the worst one of those stories. Okay. So there was this guy back in high school that I had this humongous crush on, right? Like I think it was really more than a crush, but whatever. So anywho,
Is this about old
yes.
boy?
So
Yeah. Okay.
I left school one day and well I had gotten out of school one day and I had walked across from to the place where he worked at, right? So he and the guy that worked in the store with him were there and I had placed my notebook on top of the ice cream freezer, went and got something to drink, paid for it, walked out, right? So it was the summertime and the air was broken. So the door, instead of it making that chiming noise when somebody walks in, it was open to let air in. So you could just walk in and out. So I realized I left my folder on top of the ice cream thing. So I go back to get the folder. At this point, the guy that I have the crush on and uh his coworker were in this. Now, mind you, this is a really small, like convenience store gas station, but they were in like the storage room or whatever, getting whatever, and they were having a conversation. Keep in mind, I had just walked out like 30 seconds later. I mean, 30 seconds before. So you could hear the coworker say something like, "Yeah, she's cute. You should give her a try," or something like that. He said, and dude busts out and
Obnoxious.
says, man, I wouldn't be seen at a dog show with her.
God damn.
I cried all the way home. Like, literally, that blow to my self esteem, like, I was just shattered.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just shattered. Like, for real, dude, a dog show? Like,
Yeah, that's pretty fucked
Wow.
up.
so, anyway, I had to, let's just say I kept in contact with this dude because we had mutuals and we all had like this thing going on between, like the mutuals. We had this thing that we did. So, eventually I got over the dog show comment and we ended up, getting back because we were already friends, but I was friends really under false pretenses.
Right. You had an
I had an
agenda.
agenda, right? So
Women.
Yeah.
So once
Absolutely.
I knew that I couldn't be seen at a dog show with him, even though the crush lingered, I had really given up hope. I'll say it was maybe a year or so later, I ended up meeting the guy that I would end up marrying. And I had won these tickets to Video Soul. Remember Video Soul?
Oh
I
God.
do.
So I remember, I had won these tickets to Video Soul Live. And the guy that I had met, now mind you, I've met the guy that would be my husband, so I'm all infatuated, this, that, and the other. So wow, oh, I'm sorry, my ex couldn't go. He couldn't go, and so he knew that Jay was my friend, and so he was like, "Well, why don't you just ask Jay to hang out with you or whatever?" And my first thought was like, "No." I'm like, "No," and then I was
I
like,
mean, technically, it wasn't a dog show.
I
It
was I
wasn't a
was gonna
dog show,
say.
right? So I asked him and he said yes. So we ended up going, had a really fun night, right? I knew I talked about CL a lot that
Uh-huh.
night, but I wasn't sure exactly how much I talked about him. So anyway, couple of years later, several years later, mind you, I'm almost married. He's married. Somehow, some way, we get to talking about the night of Video Soul. And he was like, "Oh, isn't it funny how stuff work out? Whatever, whatever." He was like, "Because I was really all set and kind of prepared to tell you how I felt about you, that I liked you and wanted to try to date or whatever. And you talked about, CL so much. I just was like, oh, she liked this dude. Let me just leave this alone." I was like, hold the fucking phone. I was like, hold the phone. Like, just a year before, or a year and some months before, you wouldn't be seen at a dog show with me, and now you called yourself liking me. He's like, "What are you talking about?" So when I reminded him, he was like, "We weren't talking
That
about
one,
you."
right.
He was like, "We weren't talking about you." He was like, "We were talking about such and such and such." He was like, "Remember her?" And I was like, "But because I had just left out the store, I thought y'all was talking about me." He was like,
Yeah,
"No." He was like, "Even if I didn't like you, I would have never said that about you." So he
yeah,
said he tried to flirt with me that particular night, but I saw none of that because I'm not an assumer. And again, I'm not even thinking that this dude remotely likes me. So
yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm like that too. Like, people will be like, "Yeah, I was trying to get with you," and I'm like, "When?"
right.
And they're like, "Oh, well, remember, I was trying to get you to, take me." This one dude, from high school, he was like, "I remember I used to wait for you after cheerleading practice, and so that you could drive me home." He was like, "You were scandalous. You used to always get your friend to drive me home." And I'm like, because she lived right next to you know what I mean? And I thought, oh, you want a ride home, so I'll get you a ride home. Like, it never occurred to me that he was waiting on me. You
To
know what I
say,
mean?
"You want me to take you home?" You know, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, but yeah, clueless. That was me.
I was
So
clueless
y'all
too.
just assume that men are trying to be in your friend zone on purpose?
Well, this particular guy, first of all, yeah, I did. Like, it never occurred to me. Honestly, like, it never occurred to me that that was even, something that was going through his mind.
And
I
I mean,
know it's like an old Chris Rock joke, but it's something to the effect of like, yeah, I have women friends, but all of them were women I was trying to fuck at some point and just ended up in the friend zone.
see, that's weird to me. Like, I know that that's a thing, but
We're really simple creatures.
well, no, not. Well, I know it's a thing, but it's just weird for me, I guess, because the tendency is to project like your own tendencies onto other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we all think
I'm the
everybody else
type of
thinks
person.
like us,
Exactly.
and we're all wrong.
and
Exactly.
men are
Exactly.
fuck us, suck us, feed us. We're good.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
and don't
really
get me
think with our
wrong.
dicks. I was like, not that complex. It's really pathetic.
Don't get me wrong. There are plenty of men that I, was only friends with because I looked at him and was like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, exactly. Let me go say hi. And then we became
Hello.
friends.
Won't you
But
be my neighbor?
yeah, but usually, like
Just turn
like I
Mister
always tell,
Rogers into a perv.
right? She crazy.
I
But
like it, but
like I tell you all the time, Star. I can usually tell within like 2 to 5 minutes of talking to a dude whether or not there's any chance. you know, you know what I mean? Like any chance that I'm gonna be interested in him long term.
Yeah, it usually
okay,
takes me
Star.
a
How
little
long does it take
longer.
you?
Usually takes
How
me
long?
about 10 or 15, about 10 minutes. Depends. It depends on the guy. Because see, here's the thing. Most guys, when you meet them, if they are putting on some sort of front, they usually drop or begin to lessen that front after about, I'll say about 10 or 15 minutes. You begin to see fraying about 10, after 10 to 15 minutes. I believe they end up getting comfortable. Maybe it's just me because I've been told that I'm a little easy to speak, a little easy to talk to. So it's kind of
Yeah,
like, I believe they begin to let their guards down. And it's like, oh, okay. All right. So it usually takes me about a good 10 to 15 minutes. Usually, even if you are putting on the front, the majority of people, if you're going to be our limit, if you're going to be eliminated, you're going to be eliminated within the first two conversations. What was one of the most annoying slang terms that they used last year?
Oh, I remember because I was like, I can't wait
They
until
stopped saying that.
they stop saying that bullshit. Make me feel some type of way.
I hated that one.
Yeah,
God, that was like nails down the chalkboard for me.
make me feel some type of way, or the guys that I meet, and you all know what I'm talking about. My name, and they just kind of run that shit in the
Yeah,
ground. It's like, okay, it's not
yeah,
funny.
right,
Yeah, it's not
right,
funny
because you're not original.
because you're not original. Um,
Exactly.
um, what was the one? Like some guy said to me, oh, that was year before last. He was like, "Yeah, I'm about to walk out the door on Fleek." I'm sorry, did you just say Fleek? You're 51. How did you just really say
Wow.
Fleek?
I've
Yeah,
never heard a man say fleek.
yes.
I have
I
not.
am
I
about to
gotta
walk
say,
out the
well, not,
door and I'm gonna be on Fleek.
I've never heard a
First
straight
of
man say
all,
it. I'll say that.
that was like such a turn off. And then he turned around and he just said something like 15 or 20 minutes later about yeah, I don't know, boy, a little sus. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And I didn't even know what that was at the time. He was like, yeah,
Yeah,
Mm.
oh,
you sus.
huh?
Yeah, you sus.
Like, I'm not even that mad at sus, but Fleek was just like, ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding.
Mm.
I
Winner, winner,
cannot with
chicken dinner.
testicles say fleek seriously.
You said what?
I cannot, being of a person with testicles, say fleek seriously.
Yeah, Fleek
That and
and
inappropriate. I hate the word inappropriate. But yeah, fleek, what the fuck are you talking
Oh,
about? You a grown ass man, dog.
I like the word inappropriate.
It's
okay,
because it's a chick
let's stop.
word and no man uses inappropriate seriously.
Yeah, so I've learned to not make that a big deal.
The only real problem I had with words was my first couple years in Atlanta. I couldn't take the shorty thing.
You mean shoddy?
Even
Hi,
still, it's like,
Shani.
dude, I'm a foot taller than you. Like, stop. Like, for me back home, that's slang for like girls and little kids. Like, yeah, I'm a foot taller than you.
Oh,
No, we're not doing this. So it took a good two
yeah,
years before I'm like, all right, that's just what they do here. Let it go.
yeah. I can't deal with nah mean. I can't deal with that. Like the
What is it?
if you
Nah, I
nah
mean,
mean, yeah, if you say nah mean like after every freaking
You know what?
phrase, it
That's
annoys
terrible. I
me.
had that
none of
habit.
those slipped out.
I had that
I know
habit.
I
I
do
would,
that, but I'm usually drunk.
I would be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, no,
Nah, I
it
mean,
is
I can't even
nah
say that right.
mean.
Like,
Yeah,
nah,
such and such and such and such. Nah mean, nah
I
mean.
mean,
I
I
can't
know
do
I
it.
do
no.
that one, but I won't do it like after every sentence. That's just crazy.
Well, and that's the problem I have. I don't even have a problem that you do it. It's doing it after every sentence. Also, like. If you use like constantly,
Oh
annoyed
God.
I will
Yeah.
be.
It's like,
I'm gonna need you to check the unedited version of the last episode. Apparently, I use like a rapper, so ill.
Well, if you're using it
It's
as
excessive.
to begin a simile, that's different than going, well, I don't know, like, I'm like, so like tired. And I like,
Yes, I
that
do
just
it. I
irritates.
just don't have the Caucasian accent to it. Trust
I'm
me, I
like
was going through
so
that last
tired.
time. I say like a lot, and y'all say, what the hell was it? You know, both of y'all say you know a lot.
I do say you know a lot. I do
Yeah,
say that.
you way
But
more,
that's
but
because but that is because I am old and I am anemic.
motherfuckers don't be
So,
knowing.
well, no, it gives me time to search for the proper word because, I have my mind is
Mm, mm,
mush.
mm.
Just did it. Mm.
Yeah.
So, met this guy from New York.
Uh oh.
Visually, he's a 10.
Ooh, does he have that accent?
Yes.
Can you make him say my name? I love the way guys on the East Coast say my name.
So, uh,
Leave that one alone.
as a
I do. I do. They have this acid. Oh my goodness.
as a
But anyway,
conversationalist, he is about an 8,
okay. That's acceptable.
with the exception of dead
Uh
ass.
oh.
When he gets mad,
Oh,
like when he gets upset about something,
dead
Your
ass.
dead ass son.
oh my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Oh, the thing out here, if I see another little boy calling his girlfriend bruh every 5 words, I'ma just choke him in public.
Bruh, bruh, calm down,
Bruh.
bruh.
Yeah. Now, see, bruh doesn't bother me as bad as bro. I cannot stand
Bruh doesn't
bro.
bother me between two dudes. Why are you calling your
Your
girl
girl
bruh?
a
That's
bruh.
sickening.
Yeah. Well, I get
No,
it.
here's my ultimate pet peeve. And people say that I use it now, but I use it more out of sarcasm than anything. Okay. Whole. She got a whole boyfriend. What the hell?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Yeah,
A whole ass.
yeah,
A whole ass.
a whole ass
yeah.
boy.
She got a whole ass boyfriend. Not a half a boyfriend or a quarter of one. She got a whole ass
I
boyfriend.
do
The
find that slipping out every now and then.
the
Yeah, I do
first
that.
time
I do that. Especially when I'm incredulous. Because I'm like, you trying to holler at me? You got a whole ass wife at home? Like,
the first time
Nobody's
I
faithful.
heard my child use that, I
okay.
was thrown back.
First of all, you're projecting because somebody's faithful somewhere.
I
I
was. That shit don't work.
Okay. Well, there you go. Somebody's faithful.
Mm,
I'm faithful.
you're single.
Exactly. Exactly.
Switch hands.
And
Anyway.
that, stop it.
I am previously unfaithful.
um,
I have no problem with being unfaithful. I have a problem with not being honest about it.
Well,
Yeah, I
see,
wasn't
and
honest
I'm
about it until I
honest
had to be.
because I will break up with you
That's
before,
terrible.
like, I just break up with you. But again, I don't have any nuptials going on. So, it's easy for me to be like, this ain't working out. I'm going to go holler at him.
I wasn't honest about it until I had to be, and even in that, like I had no plans on what I did lasting. So it was kind of one of them things where I had gotten to the point where I wanted to even say something about it just to be open and honest. I was just like I was done. So it was just like no point in bringing it up. Like I didn't get caught, and yeah,
If you're in a relationship and it's gone on for years, whatever, X amount of time, there's inevitably a point where you have a conversation with your partner and go, okay, if you were to have sex with somebody else, this, and that isn't acceptable. That, and this I could get over. So if you stay within the rules, is it still cheating?
Um,
I mean it depends on how seriously you take your vows. It depends on how
right.
seriously you take your vows, and it depends on basically what your moral fiber is. Like, um,
That's not what I'm saying. Like, okay, I'll put my own self on the damn table. Okay, with me and my wife, we sat down, and this is probably 7, 8 years into the relationship, and we've had the conversation a few times since. It
sorry.
was like, okay, having sex with
Uh oh.
somebody
I
else,
heard coughing. You got the Rona.
Oh, brother.
Oh,
everybody
go
will in
ahead.
a minute. So we sat down and we went, okay, having sex outside of the two of us is wrong, period, point blank. But under these circumstances, it's forgivable. Like, for instance, with me, I'm like, every year or two, she'd go on vacation with the girls. Okay, if you fuck somebody while you're on vacation, fine and dandy. Don't bring home no diseases. When you leave there, cut off all contact with that person. I ain't even
Oh
gonna
my
ask you
God, you
about
are
it.
so weird.
All I'm gonna go is, did you have fun? Yep. All right, we cool. So if she actually did anything on any of those trips, I wouldn't consider that cheating.
Weird. Okay, but go ahead.
This is I'm talking 7, 8, 9, 10 years into a relationship. Like if you fuck somebody once, I don't give a
Listen,
shit.
listen. I get it. I mean, I get it.
We all know you're prone to
there's
leaving people.
nuances in there. I get it, but I'm just saying that's just. But go ahead. Go ahead.
And her rule with me was basically like, if I don't find out, it never happened.
Huh?
She has more self esteem problems than I have, and I'm a dude. I got ego. I can't really process, hey, somebody else's dick is in my wife's mouth. Like, nah, that doesn't ring well with me. But there's also, like, even Star with what you were saying, you didn't tell the truth until you had to. But if, okay, you were doing what you were doing, if you had enough wherewithal to not leave any evidence or to get caught, there's still a level of, okay, I respect the person I'm with more than that.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I really do.
I don't.
I do because I hear what you're saying because at some point
To
the
simplify,
lies
to simplify,
the
it's
lies are
unrealistic.
more
Yeah, the lies hurt worse, but it's
the lies hurt
unrealistic to
worse than the
believe.
actual act. Yeah.
To me, yeah, but it's unrealistic to believe that the person you're with for the rest of your life is not going to desire other people.
Well, of course not.
Well,
You
yes,
know.
desire and act on is two different things.
Very
And
much so.
Well,
Like I said, fucking
so
yes.
outside the relationship is wrong, but certain levels are more forgivable than others.
Right.
Like her
So in
rule
other
for me, it
words,
was also like, don't have me out here looking stupid. Like, don't be fucking my
well,
cousin and everybody knows but me, and everybody's looking at me
but
like a fucking dummy.
I,
I mean,
I'm
I
sorry, go
have
ahead.
so many questions
Ask away.
because I guess as the single person, you know, because like I said, it's
Give me a
really
few
easy for
months.
me. Well, like I said, it's really easy for me because I'm just like, okay, well, you're not giving me what I need, so we can end this now, and I'm gonna go over there and get what I think I need from this person over here. So that's easy for me. But I do recognize that it's a little more difficult and more nuanced when you're in a marriage, because
Yeah, there's
your
kids,
finance
mortgages, all that shit.
yeah, your finances are linked and everything you do is linked to another individual. So, I mean, is it worth blowing it all up over, a quick romp? I mean,
Yes,
I would say
for me,
no,
yes. And
but
let me tell you
I'm
why.
weird.
Let me
I
tell you
mean,
why.
I would say it
Okay,
depends. I mean, it's hard for me to put
let me
Go
tell you
myself.
ahead.
why for me.
Okay.
So let me tell you, yes, why for me? Because in my 20s, which is when all of this happened, okay,
Hmm.
I had mental health issues. I had no clue of who I was. And when he, I won't say started this like it ended up being a tit for tat, but when he stepped out, had I known myself, I would have left immediately. I would have left immediately. What I
Okay.
didn't understand about me, and this is just me, is
Hmm.
that trust is huge with me. I can't
Yes.
be bothered to wonder who you talking on the phone to, what you doing once you walk out the house, this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. Okay?
And that's why what
We,
Magic was saying, um, that's why I understand what he was saying, that it's not so much the sex that's the problem, it's the lies.
well,
Because,
see, here's the thing. There was no lying. There was no lying involved. Um, because he didn't suspect anything. And well, there was no lying
well,
with us.
that's a lie of omission.
Well, okay, hold on.
Omission is not necessarily a lie.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's also not the truth.
It's deceiving.
Yeah, it's
It
misleading.
is deceitful, yes, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and deceit destroys trust.
So here's
if
the
you get
thing.
caught.
Yes.
Here's the thing. He stepped out first. My It was my fault that I never asked him, were you actually stepping out or were you on your way to stepping out? I just made up in my mind, you love this dude. You're not really willing to let all this go. So here's the thing. You have two options. Either you stay or you go. You stay because you love him and you want to make it work, or you go because you pretty much you know what it looks like. You pretty much know what it is, and it's unacceptable to you.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Mm,
So the not
I
asking,
do too, but
the not asking, was that because you didn't really want the answer?
I believe so. I
Okay.
don't. In hindsight, I'm pretty sure had I gotten the answer, we would have been done. But we would have been done right then and there. So here's the thing. Even though he never So okay, I'm sorry. I said if you stay, you either stay or you go. If you stay, you will not rub this in this dude's face because this is your decision. This is a decision that you're making to stay, knowing what that looks like. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So in anything that we ever went through, I never bucked that up.
Right.
Never. However,
I was
okay,
gonna
what
say,
I
but
didn't
you didn't really have
understand,
to.
what I didn't really understand was that that was the beginning of the end for us. Okay, because I, on some unconscious level, didn't realize that my level of trust in him had been shattered.
Yeah.
And with that, it began to cause other problems, and that's what basically, I'm not blaming it on that, but it was a major part of what led me to sleep with this other dude. You understand what I'm saying? Because it was just like things just started to progressively fall apart with us. It was just this whole snowball effect. Okay. And I'm not going to say that I didn't play my part in it. I'm not going to say that at the beginning, that on some unconscious level, that I had began to give up. You understand? I didn't realize that's what I was doing at first,
Mm-hmm.
but at some point I did. And that was that. So when I ended up sleeping with dude and he was my friend, he basically was my friend, and I turned to him for comfort, and really he comforted me with his dick.
Yeah.
And it was just like that was a fucked up situation. You understand? Even though we protected ourselves, here you go a couple of weeks later, doctor come talking about I'm pregnant, and it was just like, what? And I'm, keeping it real funky. I'm just painting a picture.
Okay.
Okay. Highly intoxicated.
That's how most things start.
Two
yeah,
A year and a half of feeling neglected, not sure what to
distrust.
do, distrust. Just there was a lot of toxicity happening, that made that soup, that made up that soup, that put us
Okay.
in that position. Okay. Despite the
Yeah.
fact that it was like all of the things I had wanted him, I'm not going to say all of the things, but a lot of the things as far as intimacy wise, we're not talking about the sex, we're talking about the intimacy that I had wanted from him, that he just could never really seem to, it was just wasn't his thing. That was old boy's thing.
Right.
Love
Okay.
languages.
Okay.
Um,
And I was going to say, and that's a big deal breaker for me because, well, we've had a conversation on how I have a hair
well,
trigger.
but see, here's
You
the
know.
thing. You talking to somebody who that was my first. So I didn't,
Yeah.
I didn't know what I like, because even before we got married, okay, yeah, I had one or two other experiences, but that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? And
Well, I'm not even, yeah, but I'm not even talking sexually. I'm saying, if I'm with you and I'm not feeling like you're making me feel like I'm not valued, I'm out.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
I didn't
just
even
like,
at
okay,
20 something years old, I didn't
I'm
even have
out.
that language in my head to be able to.
Well, I didn't either to be able to articulate it that way, but I've always had a hair
Yeah,
trigger,
I
in that
didn't
fashion.
know. Yeah, I know. How about that? And then you have to also keep in
Yeah.
mind that I spent a lot of my 20s up until I got pregnant very, very drunk. And for a couple of
Uh,
years, very, very drunk and high. You know what I mean?
hmm.
So,
Been there.
yeah. It was just a mess. You
I
know?
have questions.
Yeah.
Mm,
First and foremost, don't you think the after some shit goes wrong, like cheating, and you get to that point where you're like, okay, am I gonna stay or am I gonna go? Once you decide you're going to stay, you're inevitably going to have that problem with trust. And I think that causes a lot of the tit for tat shit. And I'll go back to myself, like I'm going through the same shit right now. I'll say it. I still love my wife. I don't trust her, at least not in that sense. So it's like, okay, I said like again. Anyway, if we get back together, I know I still have that thing of, okay, I don't trust her as much. I don't like her as much. I don't respect her as much. So obviously, I'm not going to treat her the same way I did when I was all in. But
mhm.
then there's always the thing in any relationship, there's always players on the bench waiting to get some of you. So whereas before I could be like, I know these chicks are trying to fuck me, but whatever, it's funny, keep it moving. But somewhere down the line, if I decided to stay with her knowing how she fucked up, and there's somebody else trying to fuck me and I'm sitting there drunk, like, why the fuck wouldn't I? So I think it kind of leads to that
Because,
tit for tat thing that only makes
yeah,
shit
I was going to
worse.
say, because that's the cycle that Star's talking about,
Yeah, I think
because
that's the
you start
downfall of
doing
staying.
that and then you're detached and then she starts feeling it and now she's down that same rabbit hole. So,
Yeah, I know a lot of couples that have stayed together when both of them are cheaters, and it's like, okay, so y'all basically just roommates at this point. I don't need anybody to share the bills with. Fuck that.
yeah, I mean, I also know couples who have stayed together after one of them cheated and, and it worked out because they actually got stronger from it.
I don't
Now,
know that I've ever
do
seen it
I
happen.
think, oh, I have seen that
I'm
happen.
sure it does, but
Could it have been me? Probably not.
yeah, that's how I go with it. Like, yeah, I feel like there's a time limit on love.
No.
No,
I don't think
not
forever is
love.
realistic. I
Uh,
mean, nah, not love, but how
no,
long two
not
people can
love.
really put up with each other.
No,
No,
I do think
no.
I do think that for some people there's a time limit on their relationships. Because
Yeah, I think it depends on
it's
people as
very
well.
dependent on the people. It depends on their experience, their level of maturity. Because see, I say it all the time. I'm not a bad person. My ex-husband's not a bad person. But here's the thing.
Right.
We're good people. We just at some point we're not good for one another.
Like that's not going to work for me long term because at some point we're going to have a problem because you think the world revolves around you. And I'm here to tell you it doesn't.
Because it
You
revolves
know.
around me. No, I'm
So,
just playing.
well,
That's the truth.
no, not at all.
I'm kidding.
you know, but
You're always
so
right.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
In her head.
am I always right? No, I'm not
Wait
always
a
right. I
minute.
mean, I'm never
Are you
wrong, but
changing?
no, I'm never wrong, but I'm not always right.
And on that note, good night, y'all. I'm tired.
Yeah, I gotta take a road
I
trip in the
mean,
morning.
sometimes I'm mistaken,
Listen,
never wrong.
hmm whatever floats your boat, we gonna go with that. Good night, sweet.
Good night, people.
All right,
Bye
good
bye.
night.
Tell a friend, tell a foe, tell a hoe.